Since the god of dream is imprisoned, all human are now trapped in their dream and will not be released till he is free. Hi everyone, welcome to Timeline Recap. Spoilers ahead. Heads up and stay safe. There are two different worlds that exists. The regular one is referred to as the waking world, where we mortal humans stay, and another world that waits us when we close our eyes to sleep, which is called the dreaming realm. This world is controlled by a godlike being, master of dreams. His name is Lord Morpheus. He is in charge of controlling mortals' dreams and nightmares. He has the capacity to manipulate people's minds as well as time travel and turn himself into other entities. In the opening shot, his favorite raven is seen making its way to his castle. It turns out that Morpheus is looking for a nightmare known as the Corinthian. After the Corinthian left the dreaming realm, it wreaked havoc on the waking world and killed numerous humans. Therefore, it is Morpheus' duty as king of the dreaming realm to apprehend and neutralize the Corinthian. He quickly puts on his mask and exits the dreaming realm. Morpheus is the strongest creature in the dreaming world, yet in the waking world he is weak. Despite this, Morpheus is sure he can complete the task with the aid of his 3 lethal weapons, his headgear, his ruby, and his sack of sand. In England, 1916, Lord Magus and well-known magicians are trying to perform a ceremony to seize the angel of death and force her to bring their dead sons back to life. They are joined by their followers, who react collectively in this pitch-black setting. The Corinthian in London is being approached by Lord Morpheus. The latter just killed a man. Morpheus is about to finish him out. When this is happening, Morpheus starts hearing a repeated the phrase "here in the darkness" in his brain. He disappears immediately after that. The King of Dreams is unintentionally brought to Magus and imprisoned in the basement by him, who had intended to capture the Angel of Death. However, because Morpheus is a magical being, Magus decides to hold him as a prisoner and removes his helm, ruby, and sandputch, leaving him helpless on the ground. Additionally, the waking world begins to experience a dreadful circumstance as a result of his imprisonment. The sleepy sickness, a contagious illness, appears. The following morning, we learn that over 1 million men, women, and children died while they slept because they never came out from their dreams. The nightmare, Corinthian, finds Lord Magus that afternoon and counsels him on how to hold Morpheus in captivity, since if he escapes, he'll come for them both. For Morpheus' physical form to be contained, they will need to imprison him inside a glass sphere that is situated inside of a binding circle. Additionally, Corinthian counsels Magus to give his guards stimulants in order to prevent them from dozing off when Morpheus is around, since if they do, he will enter their dreams and rule them. Finally, Corinthian instructs Magus to get rid of Morpheus' raven because she will go to any lengths to set him free. Later, Magus goes to the cellar where Morpheus is held captive and begs him to give his son back. The King of Dreams does not speak and does not even move a muscle to answer the queries. Nearly 10 years pass during the same routine, yet Morpheus is still silent. Alex, Magus' second son, becomes increasingly interested in the prisoner throughout this period and even tries to aid in his escape. Morpheus, however, only says to himself in silence that he is powerless to grant their wishes. The wish will only cause a commotion in both the waking and dreaming states. Morpheus's stolen vestimes have given Magus and his followers youth and riches as of the year 1926. One day, Alex goes up to Morpheus and once more recounts how his father would release him if he brought his deceased kid back to life. Sadly, Magus discovers his kid speaking with Morpheus and punishes him. Alex eventually lures the raven into Morpheus' cage and shoots it dead after being threatened by his father into killing the bird. Morpheus, distraught, is confined to his captivity, where he can only observe the misery. Majesty's Mistress Ethel eventually confesses that she is pregnant after several more years have passed. Although he claims he doesn't want any more children, Magus urges her to abort the pregnancy. Ethel steals Morpheus's headpiece ruby and the sand pouch as she flees the estate in a fit of wrath. Because of this, Magus starts acting irrationally and even promises Morpheus freedom and the chance to recover the things he stole from Ethel in exchange for giving him Magus immortality, wealth, and power. Morpheus, though, continues to be silent. When Magus eventually loses his anger, he vents it on poor Alex. Magus and the other person fight, which causes Magus to tumble backward and strike his head on the ground, instantly killing him. Alex, who is devastated, makes his way to the garden, where a worker called Paul consoles him. After some discussion, Paul advises that he try to reason with Morpheus. Alex worries that it is not a smart idea, because he previously broke the law by murdering Morpheus Raven. However, the captivity continues for many years as a result. It has been 104 years now, since Morpheus was seduced and captured in prison. Old and wrinkled as they are now, Paul and Alex still desire to bargain with Morpheus, and one day, everything in the room changes. The magic circle is purposely broken by Paul as he pushes Alex away in his wheelchair, releasing the King of Dreams abilities. Following their departure, Morpheus induces slumber in one of the guards so that he can enter his dreams. The guard is compelled to fire his rifle and shatter the glass sphere by him after that. As soon as Morpheus emerges, he exacts revenge on Alex by trapping him in an unending slumber where he is forced to cycle through a series of nightmares. This allows Morpheus to finally return to his dream world after more than a century in prison, but to his dismay, it is not the same one he left. The once beautiful structures are now decayed and gloomy. When Morpheus rejoins Lucian, the chief librarian of the realm, they discover that the majority of the populace deserted because of a lack of leadership. He is shocked to learn all of this, but he swears to restore his realm to its former glory. The nightmare Corinthian, on the other hand, is pictured at an apartment with his most recent victim. He is aware that his creator Morpheus has eluded capture and will soon find him. The reason Corinthian truly wears sunglasses in his eye sockets is then made clear to us. He has rows of teeth that resemble little mouths. He is renowned for his signature method of executing victims by removing their eyes. Back in the dreaming realm, Morpheus tells Lucian that he is nothing without his weapons, his bag, helmet, and ruby. So, in order to reconstruct his world, he must first locate them. Then, we are brought to Buffalo, New York, where an older Ethel is attempting to remain hidden from society. She seems to be a global criminal leading several different lives. One day, Corinthian approaches her and suggests they work together. Because Morpheus is an enemy to both of them. They start their partnership once Ethel accepts right away. When they are preparing to deal with the circumstance, Ethel tries to claim that she is unaware of the whereabouts of Morpheus's weaponry, but Corinthian brings up her son and disproves her claim. Morpheus reveals that calling the three goddesses collectively referred to as the Fates is the only method to retrieve your weapons once you are back in your castle. But in order to do this, he has to be able to draw strength from something strong. Morpheus visits two dream brothers as a result, hoping they return a present he gave them in the past. Gregory, a cute dinosaur, turns out to be the present, which the boys adore a lot. Although they are hesitant to let him go, Gregory voluntarily chooses to give his life in order to honor his creator. Morpheus then falls on his knees and takes the creature's soul. He has enough strength now to speak with the Fates. After that, he teleports into someone else's dream world, a place he did not build. Morpheus discovers a peculiar serpent, and with its aid, he is able to call the Fates at last. In exchange for taking the snake from Morpheus, the three goddesses give him a hint concerning each object. A magic user by the name of Johanna Constantine most recently acquired the leather pouch filled with sand that was being offered in London. The ruby was given by a mother to her kid, and the helm was exchanged for a protective amulet by a monster from hell. That diamond hint wasn't very good. Back in Buffalo, Ethel continues to claim that she doesn't know where Morpheus's tools are. But in actuality, she exchanged the sand and helm for a new beginning in the US. As John, her son, grew older, he snatched the ruby from her. This implies that the ruby may provide someone eternal life. Because of her falsehoods, Corinthian is about to gouge out her eyeballs, but Ethel interrupts him and says she has her own weapons and doesn't need Morpheus's. She then produces the protective amulet that causes Corinthian to vanish into thin air. Immediately after that, Ethel visits a hospital that has a prison-like atmosphere when she runs into her grown-up son, John. She attempts to talk to John and asks about his treatment, but he remains silent. Morpheus tells Lucian that in order to be strong enough to journey to hell for his helm, he has to find his sack of sand in London, which he must accomplish somewhere in the dreaming world. Corinthian is sent to the dreaming realm shortly after he departs due to Ethel's enigmatic amulet. He is greeted by Lucian, who tries to persuade him to avoid the waking world. Corinthian, though, is insistent on going back. In the following scenario, Morpheus arrives in London and encounters Johanna Constantine, a purported owner of the bag who practices magic. He informs her that they have business to take care of. However, she dismisses him and adjourns, claiming that she must attend to an exorcism. She then enters a chapel where she discovers that, as she could have guessed, a wealthy princess is attempting to wed a footballer. While Johannes is puzzled as to why the pair would require an exorcism, the princess begins to scream. The football player is shown to be possessed, and a monster soon emerges from his mouth. The football player is entirely dismembered, and Johann is the object of its interest. At the same time, Morpheus comes and sees the monster. The two then start talking, but Constantine uses the interruption as an opportunity to send the demon back to hell. After the event, Morpheus and Constantine finally have a good talk outside, during which he inquires about his sand pouch. He is shocked to learn from Johanna that she had to sell it since she was unable to open the drawstring. Morpheus urges they discover the bag because if they don't, his kingdom will vanish. If dreams vanish, there will be disaster. Johanna, however, ignores what he says and continues to walk away. After the two separate, Morpheus sees a raven that Lucian sent to help him. The bird identifies himself as Matthew and makes a firm commitment to Morpheus' safety. Then, Morpheus appears in Johanna's dreams. She seems to be experiencing a nightmare in which a demon is attempting to dredge her up to hell. Morpheus is in her chamber when she suddenly awakens. He reveals that has imprisoned her through her dream. In order to assist her, she must find the bag of sand. Later, Morpheus promises to stop the nightmares that plague Constantine virtually every night. Finally persuaded, she starts hunting for the sandbag. Morpheus discovers images of Johannes and her girlfriend Rachel when searching through her workplace. Johann is triggered by this and understands the sandbag is really at her girlfriend's house. The two go to Rachel's residence to get the pouch. In the next scenario, Johanna reveals that she recently lived there. She made the decision to leave Rachel, nevertheless, in order to keep her safe as all the people close to her starting passing away one by one. Soon after the two enter the home, they are shocked to see Rachel under the sand pouch's influence. She can't even talk because of how precarious her situation is. It turns out that she has developed a need on the sand and the visions that it inspires, which is why her body is decaying. Morpheus says that the sandbag wasn't intended for humans as he takes it from Rachel. Then, as he is about to depart, Constantine commands him to assist her ex-girlfriend because it was his sand that destroyed her. He accepts, and Morpheus tells her to wait outside. Then he covers Rachel with sand to end her pain. It enables her to dream peacefully of Johannes one final time before she dies away. Ethel tells her son back in Buffalo that she just took the magical weapons because she believed they would be helpful. She concealed the ruby and exchanged the other stones for the enigmatic pendant of protection around her neck as Magus's soldiers pursued them. Even though it has kept her alive for so long, she no longer wants to do it. She thus wants to give the ruby back to Morpheus in the hopes that he would pardon them. John questions if they should part with it when they might use it to imagine a world without the King of Dreams. Ethel responds by saying that the ruby has already caused many deaths and is thus not valuable to preserve. She then removes her protective amulet and offers it to John as a token of peace. Now that the amulet is gone, her body starts aging quickly, and she passes away in John's arms, breaking his heart. A guard comes after hearing his screams and finds the deceased. He shoots a shot at John after rapidly assuming that he has killed her. Unexpectedly, the guard gets killed by the bullet's rebound due to the protective amulet. John then exits the structure that has held him prisoner for so many years. The Corinthian emerges from behind and offers him a coat as he stands on the chilly streets of Buffalo. John claims he doesn't want it because the man is just a stranger, but Corinthian is adamant. In the last scene, Johanna is told by Morpheus that her ex-girlfriend passed away peacefully while sleeping. He tells her that she won't have any more nightmares in the future. After she departs, Morpheus and his new companion Matthew, a raven, plan their next course of action towards entering hell. Please subscribe to watch more timeline videos like this. This is Timeline Recap. Thanks for watching.